Hello. Chapter 3 talks about police goals and systems. A big portion of the chapter is contributed to a police department's mission statement. Mission statement is very important to a department because it sets out its core values. I've provided you with a copy of our department's mission statement in the contents folder. Our key values are ethics, loyalty and trust, people, professionalism, and teamwork. And you will see these values in many of the department's core mission statement. We also see terms such as integrity, honesty, truthfulness, faithfulness. And this is very important when you consider a law enforcement interview. I always find it impressive when candidates research the department that they are interviewing for and can talk about the agency's mission statement and core values. In fact, in a BLET class I teach for preparing for the law enforcement interview, we emphasize discussing a department's mission statement and knowing about the agency size, demographics, jurisdiction. It shows that you're prepared and you're just not applying for the job. Okay, back to the chapter. After discussing the department's mission statement and core values, the chapter goes into the 8 primary obligations for a police department. Those 8 primary obligations are to prevent conduct that's threatening, and like we said, core mission is the protection of life and property and to maintain order. To aid those in danger of physical harm, to protect constitutional rights, and I will come back to that later because that's a very important one and one I often have to deal with in my line of work. Traffic control, to assist and care for those that cannot care for themselves, to resolve or mediate conflict, to identify problems before they become more serious, and to provide a feeling of safety and security to communities. I want to go back and talk about constitutional rights. Constitutional rights are extremely important. In fact, when you begin your career in law enforcement, you take an oath and you swear or affirm to the U.S. Constitution or the North Carolina Constitution. And in law enforcement, we deal with constitutional rights on a daily basis. Some of the first 10 amendments apply directly to our daily activities and responsibility. The First Amendment talks about religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. And that is something I always have to consider when I'm working a protest event because someone's constitutional rights to petition the government, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech is something that we have to safeguard because it's very important as our First Amendment dictates. Number 4 is also an extremely important constitutional amendment. The Fourth Amendment goes directly to search and seizure and probable cause. In law enforcement, we frequently make searches and we frequently make seizures. A seizure can be considered when you arrest someone. That is a seizure. You are stopping their ability to move. You may be taking them to jail. We frequently do searches of vehicles, searches of individuals after they are arrested, searches of residents. And all those searches have to be based on probable cause. If the search is incident to arrest, it's the result of the arrest. Oftentimes, we'll have to seek warrants to do searches of individuals or their residence. And very important that we safeguard the Fourth Amendment and we do not take advantage of it as we swear to uphold the law. All right, number 5 is where we get the Miranda warnings, which many of you I'm sure have seen or heard and even seen on TV. The Miranda warnings basically protects us from being forced to incriminate against ourselves. And very important. And later in your criminal justice studies, I'm sure you will get more in depth to the Fifth Amendment. 6 is a speedy trial, and I find this sometimes comical because I've been in superior court cases and court cases that the arrest happened 2 years ago or more. But the Sixth Amendment does guarantee the speedy trial. And number 8 goes directly to the use of force. You cannot have excessive bail or cruel and unusual punishment. So many times we consider cruel and unusual punishment in the nature of use of force or using force to effect an arrest. I hope you enjoy this chapter. It's a very important chapter that builds on the administration of law enforcement work. And the chapter discusses the system approach. And the system approach is extremely important because it focuses on continuous improvement. We always can learn. Even though I'm a college professor, I frequently take classes as a student, and I'm constantly reading and trying to stay up on the current trends that affect us in our profession. Continuous improvement considers things like after-action reviews. Even if you do a perfect call-out or a perfect, what you consider a great mass arrest situation, you always can look back and say, I could do this better, or I've learned this, and will approach it different the next time. So collaboration with our CJ partners is also extremely important and part of the system approach. Whether you work in corrections, probation and parole, law enforcement for a state, municipality, or federal agency, we are all partners when it comes to the criminal justice system. And the better that we collaborate, the more effective we can be at carrying out our mission.